Hello, Divine Masculine. This is a timeless reading of yours. Please bear in mind a few things while we get ready for the reading. I am Master 7th that reads these energies for you, aka 7th. Should you want to know who she is, what she's all about, or what I have to offer, there are details in the description box below. For some insight, I am a Master Healer that provides remote wellness and or tarot intuitive insights. Bear in mind that what it means to have interest to the reading means you may have caught a vibe or the title intrigued you, and more or less knowing that Divine Masculine includes feminine and masculine energies, okay? So use your discernment to take all of that which belongs to you, leave the story behind that does not, and remember that this is not a one-to-one reading, okay? This is a general collective insight. There are other various links within the description box below to help you navigate this channel and gain access to my sister channel. All the content between both energies, both channels, are timeless for your viewing pleasure. Alright, Divine Masculine, I think you've been overstressed, getting too many headaches, struggling with migraines, needing a break, okay? For you, we have the Feminine Empress energy coming up, all right? It's very non-gender specific, yet it means that you're in your... I feel this is the sit back and observe energy of femininity within Divine Masculine. Sit back and observe. See why what you do is in process, is in motion, is attractive, is liked or unliked. You're watching the behaviors of people. You're wondering how you feel as you watch the behaviors of people. Yeah, the Lovers. All right. You're building an understanding, more or less, of what it means to have feminine and masculine energies within Divine Masculinity. And it not being a gender-specific form of expression. There is a need to make sense of a certain narrative, the Emperor energy here. 9 of Swords and 3 of Wands here as well. There's a need to understand something, which then means there's more or less the ego is telling itself that it doesn't have control of a situation. So your emotions are triggered, which then could mean all symptoms. It can mean stress in the home life, romance, in the bedroom, out the bedroom, at work, socially, self. There are imbalances within that, and there's a lack of control to those imbalances. And it's more or less due to not having a full pronounced disclosure of your own feminine attributes and your both masculine and masculine attributes. To be looked upon via emotions. See how those emotions of femininity and emotions of masculinity, how they show up in life, how they work for or against you. There are two fundamental, powerful energies here. I mean, it's the Emperor with the Empress. What could be more of a match? There's a whole world happening between the connection, which is femininity and masculinity right in the middle, which is love. And not the love that's conditional. That's the conditions spent on what each contender of the game, Empress and Emperor energy, are bringing to the connection at hand. Yet they are their own versions of the energies within. This is the mutual connection. Femininity, masculinity, of the Empress and the Emperor, each individually figuring that out for themselves. Femininity, divine femininity, has feminine masculinity. Divine masculinity has femininity and masculinity. And more or less to understand how they show up is understanding equal universal energies of polarizing differences of pros and cons, blacks and whites, left and right, up and down, as above, so below. Inner versus outer, introverted versus extroverted. There's a pendulum that swings in the extremes and is the infinitum of what is. That's why infinity is not a circle. This is infinity. Both the Empress and the masculine Emperor individually have their own intuition to work on, own intuitions to challenge, own versions of self to be on a conquest, to heal, to unwind, to rebraid, recreate, self-destruct, rebuild, gain and lose, lose and gain, going back and doing an overview, having decisions for the future, changing decisions in the future for your past. Those are all individual quests that no one outside of this can make that ring true of you. Besides, give you more versions of something already understood to be able to gravitate towards it and be anticipatory of. Because even this energy knows that they already put something forth in motion. They're just anticipatory of it returning. Well, this energy may be worried about how to produce that of which is the cargo to go, what the journey is like, what the results are, and how it's going to return back, if it's going to return at all. Both coexist at the same time. Both are real to being yours. So what is the story of the Empress and the Emperor? King of Cups. This connection is rooted with emotional stability, even if individuals within their own contract of this union or association, to say the least, even if they themselves don't really have it figured out, the connection heals the emotional self without it really needing a lot of attention, because your intuition is pretty damn good. Intuition is never good or wrong. It's never bad. It's the perception of it being that triggers the mind and the eyes and the sensories to see whether or not it is okay. If it should take up space. So individually, there's an emotional intelligence that I do see the Empress and the Emperor have. I think the emotional intelligence lacks within the union at hand. At the same time, that's more or less the way the connection is supposed to be. I think that's part of maybe how, with time, with experience, with communal interactions with each other, you're gonna become more extroverted with the commitment with this energy. So this could very well be speaking of an intuition is out there. It may be not in your home, maybe not in your bed. The connection is through the mind's eye. and the hunger of knowing that there is something to receive. And that's pretty much the conquest of figuring out, are the people within your life now derivatives of that vision? Or is there an emotion coming up that is triggered to bring deception, more or less? That the variables within your life aren't the variables of what you vision. And so now you're maybe second guessing what it is that you are envisioning and which one to pursue. Remember that the Empress and the Emperor do not pursue. It's the energies they omit, the Chariot energy, through the intriguing concept of however it's going to get the most force to express its point and its destination and bring some sort of mechanism to the game. That's ether's inevitable energy. Empress and Empress don't have to get up and do anything, more or less, in the metaphor of things. So to think that you have to be more involved is not the case. Maybe you need to be less involved. It's very interesting. I think less involved in work and more involved with your emotional, your personal emotional intelligence. Although you have it mastered in many more ways than one, I think there are clues within that need to be revisited. Maybe this could also mean that due to something triggering a memory, you're trying to figure out what it's trying to allude to and whether or not you have to answer to it. Whether or not there's something else out there in the world. Whether or not you have to go to that location and do something to bring victory within the world that you feel defeated in. The world works in contradictions. It's the beauty of the tug of war between two opposing energies wanting to unite, and either being a complex or a compounding connection. And that's where the contradictions lie to receive true judgment. And true judgment, to me, is the energies that trigger the narratives and the chapters of what the word healing triggers. Some of you need to learn how to be naked within your skin and be comfortable with that, which is an irony for Divine Masculine, I think. It also... Being naked with yourself here, with the Judgment and the Hangman. Yeah, being naked with yourself here, Nine of Wands with the Two of Cups. Again, it's the mini version of what we love to see of the Lover's energy, Two of Cups energy. Again, remember before, this is somebody else's energy of confirmation, and it is your journey of confirmation. And the closer we look at it, there are various ways where you still feel injured by the security of a bond of some kind that stems with not being very secure of the bond that you have and uphold of yourself. Some of you are absent in a relationship now. You're doing a lot of like studio time or doing a lot of like solo dolo work when At the same time, I don't think you really want to do that. You don't want to close yourself off, but at the same time, you can understand that doing so closes you off from someone who claims that they need for you to be more present within the interaction of them being around you. And those are all little clues that are contingent on being difficult to perhaps make decisions on. Because maybe you yourself are bruised and broken and dealing with trauma. So not all the decisions that you make are loud decisions, are understandable decisions. I think you're wise enough to have a healthy masculine energy in regards to, and no offense to femininity energy here, but you're good at not really caring on or about hurting people's feelings. It's not about the ego being high, it's about your own ego being high. Your own personal stature of what lies behind the ego is very high, which is the highest form of emotional intelligence, which is really weird because it contradicts the energy as of where there is still some kinks need to be ironed out because of a lack of emotional intelligence. Meanwhile, you do have emotional intelligence. Ooh, murder on the screen. I gotta clean this up. Give me one thing. Wondering if I got it. Yeah, I got it. Maybe. And of course, an obligatory snack. Okay. Back in business. All right, let's continue, huh? Whoops. All right, Eight of Swords. So it's about self. All right, it is about self. It is not about another. Another can be a witness. Another could be an option of being around towards the narrative of you unfolding the chapters of your life and writing them, creating them, publishing them, keeping them a secret, whatever they are. But what you can't do is put it on a shoebox, put it in a time capsule and bury it on the ground and expect that no one in this lifetime is going to figure this shit out. Y'all going to be swinging the pendulums away and being like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And, ooh, gold. So much for your 100-year time capsule. All right. Oh. Oh, Divine Masculine. There are a lot of injuries to the cause that you do not talk about. You don't talk about it. I feel like in more ways, I think if you were to lean in that thought, you think you're not masculine enough, which is just not the fucking case. It's not. It's not the case. All right, I'm naturally grabbing to putting all the cards away, but I don't feel the message being over, so let's give this a moment. I see someone's future plan, like being in front of like a bonfire, campfire, with maybe like at minimum 5 other people. And it's just being a moment of reflection and pastime, not original. Alright, so I have number 31, number 28, and number 23. Oh. I'm supposed to read this for you, which they're short messages anyway, but I don't have the book around, so one moment. There's a lot of leaving with you today. Alright. So it's about, I can tell already, it's about the quote the individual left within the book for every meaning of the card. So we're going to start out with 31. Number 31. So first of all, I'll show you the card. And the quote on that page is, I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. A quote from a person named Stephen Covey. Then we have number 28. Show you the card. The quote is number 28, yeah. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none, by William Shakespeare. And number 23, I'll show you the card. They're all very beautiful, no? 23, the quote is, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. That is from Steve Jobs. Incredible. And the William Shakespeare quote wants to now communicate with this deck, which is what was it? Edgar Allan Poe. Someone has an untapped, surrealism category of artwork they can really do something with. Untapped, right? Untapped. This is like a lot of surrealism bit coming through. Someone will excel in theater. It's not so about the value of the cards or the card meaning, but the quote on the quote on the card. If you see a set of crows, count them. Alright, so the first quote will be, I loved her with a love more fervent than I had believed it possible to fear for any... let's try it again. I loved her with a love more fervent than I had believed it possible to feel for any denizen of earth. The next one. Upon my touching him, he immediately arose, purred loudly, rubbed against my hand, and appeared delighted with my notice. This, then, was the very creature of which I was in search. I can definitely see why this is what it is. And last, for the moon never beams without bringing me dreams. Follow thy intuition, divine masculine. All right, with that, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space, and may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing.